starting his job on July 11th, which puts him at a point where he was to get 2 additional payments, and that would fall right within his contractual limit. So basically, we will pay out the full amount that was in his contract, and that'll be all done. And Mr. Master, I sent him an email back, and we should just lock into the position and good times there. I had a question real quick, and I'd like I had talk as Mr. Hughes. Is he still here? Or maybe possibly Chief Grady can maybe answer it, or Mr. Lambach real quick. I received a lot of phone calls, and usually don't get too many phone calls, but I received a lot of phone calls about the street closures in the downtown area, and on last Friday. They started last Friday, and they were for the whole weekend, kind of early ahead of time. They started on Friday, they were closing up the streets, and the signs went up on Friday for no parking. And a lot of people were concerned about why we weren't allowed to park on some of the streets downtown, and others were that we didn't have to park until the parking didn't get rid of until like Sunday afternoon. So if anybody can just answer that, why Mr. Hughes, why the signs were out so early on Friday, and a lot of people were concerned with some parking situations over the weekend.
I didn't hear the first part of where you were.
There was a lot of street signs that were put up down in the downtown area around Baker and those areas like that just said no parking as of when it went up. It just said no parking. And there were others that said no parking after Sunday noontime. And so the ones that had no parking were the people that parked there. And a lot of people that's a lot of phone calls on that. So any reason why those things went up that early?
I don't know how many people got phone calls on it. We didn't receive any phone calls on that. There was a plan that was approved as far as the road closures and when we were going to do that. Staffing wise, we put them out on Friday. We tried to give enough notice. Some of those areas had no parking. To reinforce areas that already had no parking signs, the smaller ones that you see, those were put out in some neighborhood areas to reinforce that. But there was a plan to put them out, and the only thing I can tell you is that we have a review committee that's coming up on Thursday. We can certainly do it, but as you noticed, the signage that was put up, they had the dates, the times.
Right, but that was only on half of this. There was a lot of
and that was on Donnelly. We didn't put any on Fifth, and we in this downtown area, and they designated that area so that people would know. We also had a parade route that we had to mark off, which was done right after the fireworks, and then after the parade on that date, we put over 400 signs out.
Yeah.
So we don't have the staff to constantly going out there. If we can do it on a Friday, put the notice out there so people know that they can't park there. I don't have to pay overtime for staffing on Friday. But on Saturday and on Sunday, I've got event pay and other staff there.
And like I said, it was on a Friday, so people weren't parking, so they would see nothing happening, and they weren't allowed to park in certain areas, and so that was quite early. They felt
We can certainly take a look at it. It was a prepared plan.
Whenever we get the process, that's appreciated, so I just want to bring it to the attention there.
I got about 6 phone calls from people. It wasn't the fact that there were no parking signs out. It was on a Friday. It was the fact that the no parking signs did not have the dates and times of the actual no parking on them. You know, they didn't have the little white piece that said between such and such and date hours, and then they were just the plain old orange no parking this side of the street.
Right. And
so
what I have
guess
here,
just if we had more of the designated signs, then you can put them out whenever, as long as people who pull up go, oh well, it's Friday or it's Saturday, it's not Sunday yet, so I don't have to worry about it. That's the only concern
we're certainly going to take a look at it from what you said, and any feedback that you have that was emailed to you or something, if you can forward it to me, I'd be more than happy to take a look at it. Some of those are parade routes where people line up for the parade, and so those signage is out there so we have people. It's ironic because I came down on the float on 9th, and we have signs on both sides. Basically, there was only one side for parking. We came down after the event was over, kind of swung around, came back up, and everything. Come right down Ninth, and there's 2 cars parked on the left-hand side facing in the other direction. And basically, we're able to get through with the floats. So that, even with the signage out, people are gonna still do, different things.
I had the owner just, you can, might want to hang there a second. It's kind of do with the building that we do, early childhood. And I think we have the ability to release out to the Lake County Lake Community Action Agency to do early childhood in the Northeast area.
It's not us.
That's not our county. Okay, who has that building?
The only thing we have is MLK, and we don't have that kind of program in there.
Okay, who owns the early childhood building? Okay,
That's not us.
Okay, because I got a letter from Mr. Lowe and saying about he wants to continue the services with the city and everything about leasing the building here, so I assume it's a city lease.
Never been a building that we've ever taken care of.
Okay, I'll find out what it's all about. I haven't called to him before, so I'm sure by now. Thank you. Okay.
He had a great float, by the way.
Thank you, Jennifer,
I've watched him.
2 months ago, you saw it. We get a lot of demands for it and use it for other things now too.
No, seriously, I think you should rent it out, make some.
We are. You'll see the seafood festival, I'm sure.
Yes.
Okay, anybody, any other council comments?
Only that I want to share a good story. So after the floats and all that are running through, Shirley and I walked up to see the rest of the parade. And there was this little 3-year-old tow-headed kid with his family. And so I developed a conversation with the father and the mother and where he from, and over from Tampa. We come here every year for the 4th of July celebration. Our family does. We stay at a B&B for 2 or 3 days. We eat at your restaurants, mentioned several restaurants by name. And they said we also do the same thing at Christmas time. So they make 2 regular trips from Tampa every year. So the float came by with these, Star Wars stormtroopers. Sorry, you should know that. The stormtroopers came by, and this little kid had the smile on his face that it should have cracked his face. It was so broad. And they stopped and they took a picture with this little kid. And I can't describe because it would look kind of funny for me to stand up and wiggle like he would. He was so elated, and it made my whole day to see that little kid smiling, getting his picture taken with those 2 stormtroopers, all from out of city folks from Tampa that come here twice a year. Good story.
Being the outdoor cat lady, I want to tell you some good news about the Trout Neuter Release Program. I will get the reports. Whitney Leash has told me 50% of the kitties that are put down at the shelter, it's down from 100% to 50%. And that's because Mount Dora challenged Eustis with the same amount in the budget. So actually that's $10,000 between 2 cities, and we're helping that many spay and neuter cats. So it's gone down 50%, which in turn is saving the taxpayers money, so we don't have to spend that money to do that horrible thing. And also I'd like to say thank you to Cindy at Animal Control with the police department. Her and Whitney have become like this, and even on the outskirts of Mount Dora in the county park, there's a program called the Divergent, where Whitney and Cindy are working together. So it's like, to me, I'm just so happy we're doing that. So thank you, council, and everybody who voted yes, which everyone did, so we're making a difference.
Any other?
Hey, I'm going to go fast. So, a couple, yes. The first one is a little serious for me. The first one is about our budget. We get our budget booklets in the next couple of days, and I want to just comment about staff and trust. When I ran it, when I endeavored, I look at the budget as like the most important thing of what I do on city council. And I want you to know that by my questions, by my prodding, and even the way that I ask them, is no
reflection on distrust, but only really that I take fully seriously my job as an oversight board to ask the question. So it might be my neurosis, but I feel I need to at least tell you that that's why I'm coming in at or that angle. So that's it for the serious note. Now we're fun. I want to thank city manager for some painting that I saw done. I'm a Picasso of sorts. I only paint walls, but I saw some painting done with some electrical boxes and striping on Donnelly, and I absolutely love it. These are the things to me that are important that brand our city, and stuff looking good is really great. So I appreciate that. I thank Deputy Chief Bell for a tour of the police department. I liked it, and I got to see almost everything, not the inside of a cell, so I appreciate that. And next thing is, I really enjoyed the parade. The opportunity to throw stuff is always fun, and not have to pick up is really great. And I just offer a suggestion too, if you want to show off that great street sweeper, I would make that the last item on the parade and have them come right afterward and show it off. So I think that's important. The last one, as you know, I try to be data driven, and one thing I want to tell you is a little piece of data around Mr. Rolfson. So Mr. Rolfson was effectively, I don't know the word, but re-elected, and the data is that in his district, nobody would challenge him because I believe data driven was that no one in his district thought that they could do a better job than Mr. Rolfson, and I really believe that is a reflection of the work he's getting another 2-year hitch.
It's a little different than the first time you said those things, but
I do appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is that, you know, they all done that, so you know that?
Oh, yeah, that's it.
That was easy. Anybody else? Everybody else good? Okay, we're gonna go into, ask Mr. Slavin, please come on up. Wait for you, right here. Okay. Yeah, sit down there, relax. Is it, make sure it's right. Oh, yeah? Is it working? Can it, what? Is it, you gonna be able to record, okay, is that, is it on or not?
It is on. I don't know if I have, I don't know if I have control of it.
Yeah, focus that. It's kind of gotta be right. All right, I can handle that.
You want to
Hold on, let's see if this one works better. Sure, we'll find out real quick. Can you hear me? Oh, yeah. I'm never better than I want to thank you for being here and coming here from Georgia. Georgia? Yes. Yes. Atlanta. Everybody. Should you start?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Mayor, members of the council, thank you for making the time to talk with me tonight. I think each of you have received fairly substantial size of at least been documented from us last week. We recruited city managers for you on a national basis beginning shortly after we were authorized to do it. I can't remember exactly when we started it, but the recruitment was national, focused, that was cast nationally. We did try to focus on Florida and the Southeast to the extent that we could. The goal was to keep the quality high, and screening the 66 resumes that we received, we did go beyond the state of Florida in order to, again, maintain the quality we thought we needed. There are actually more than 66 now. As you recall, the city asked me to re-advertise the job and open it up, and telling folks that the job would be available until it was filled. we have received resumes. In fact, we received one that I noticed today while I was on the plane. When I got evidence of them. So there may be a few more. I have screened the ones that came in since I produced this report, and I didn't see anything that would cause me to include anybody that wasn't included. That doesn't mean that that couldn't happen. So I just wanted you to know that it is still open. We are still receiving resumes, and if anything shows up that I really think you ought to take a look at, in spite of the fact that we're at this stage of the process, I'll let you know. But we had to stop the recruitment and focus on the resumes that we had in order to produce the results that I needed to provide to you in preparation for this meeting. And in getting the screening accomplished, I narrowed it to about 20 people and sent those 20 people the questionnaire that is in them. And from that questionnaire, we screened again. I will tell you of the 20, not everybody completed the questionnaire. One person took another job and others just didn't. And I did send them reminders that I needed it. And I needed it by a certain date. A couple of cases didn't get it. Others in the screening process of the questionnaire, the additional supplemental information, I did not include in the report because they didn't provide the kind of information that I thought they either didn't take the time to do it right or didn't provide the information that caused me to think that they met your needs. So, but what we have in the report is 11 resumes and background information. What we need to do is get that 11 down to a little bit of up to you as to how we do it. But I want to lead to this meeting tonight with some idea of what this council wants. Which of these candidates this council wants has the most interest. And how we do that is kind of up to you. We need to do the due diligence, criminal records, civil records, referencing, education checks, certification checks, driving record checks. That requires a written authorization from the candidates. Federal law that governs that. When I know who you're most interested in, and hopefully the others, and I was a very short period of time after tonight, we need to get the authorization. We can do that by email, and the form that is required in order to comply with the federal law is about 4 pages, but most is pretty easy. We can send it by email, get it back by email. And once we have that, we can begin the background checks. That process takes about 10 days. It could take less. And the determining components are that what used to be Wackenhut is now called G4 or something like that. To do that, they need to go into every county court system that the person has lived in for the last 10 years. Most of those court systems are pretty well automated these days, so it isn't a major deal. When they're not, it can take a little bit longer. But it's really about a 10-day process at the outside. We did propose when we did submitted our proposal more than a year ago now to do site visits, and we did those site visits the last time. There has been some concern expressed to me that we move this process along, and my response has been as long as we don't cut quality and that we're able to do the due diligence to the point where I'm comfortable that the people you'll be seeing are people who they say they are, who have not had major problems with in areas that would keep us from being able to support them. But I don't know, and this is kind of up to you, but it does affect timing. These site visits, they can take, we need to coordinate schedules, and they can take a period of time. Would probably add another week and a half, 2 weeks to the process. And that assumes that we can schedule time with the candidates. one option would be to do the other parts of due diligence ahead of time, have you folks interview them, and those one or two people that you're most interested in will do the site visits on. That would take less time. It would get you to the interview phase early rather than later. So it's an option. How we get this group down to the folks that you're most interested in is a little bit up to you folks. In other words, how you want to handle that process this evening or at some point in the very near future after this evening. You notice, I'm sure, that at the end of this report, on page 301, there is a form, and that form is really intended for you after reading the information provided by the candidates, ranking, and when for the arithmetic work, I'd ask you that each of you rank them and rank them 1 to 11. Your top choice being number 1, your least favorite person being number 11, and I would ask you to rank somebody number 11, even if you wouldn't consider hiring them, otherwise the arithmetic doesn't work very well. And then on page 302, there's another form for my use, which basically is a form through which I average your individual scores, to average them, and then tell you what at least what that arithmetic shows you, and ask you whether or not you agree with it. What that does is a couple of things. It tells me, first of all, after you look at it and said, yeah, that looks good for us. It tells me who you're most interested in and who the top 4 or 5 slots of the folks you're most interested in. The bottom 4 or 5 you're not interested in at all. But it also gives me some insight as to who to go to next if somebody either withdraws or does not pan out in terms of background checks. So, I recall that when we did this before, the information that was provided to you folks, to that council, I came here to talk with council members, and what happened at that point, and it actually worked pretty well, and they wanted to do something like that, like this tonight. We just called the candidates' names and asked how many people were interested in that person, and those 4 or 5 that got the most number of check marks were the ones that ended up being further considered. I reserve the right to say, no, you're off base. But in that particular case, the city had there were 105 resumes at the time. The city had, several of you remember this, had all 105 resumes, and several of the council members went through all 105, so they had a list and I may be nervous when I heard about it, but in reality, they did a pretty good job of selecting those that were best suited, so I was happy with the results of that. So I can do this any way you want. The bottom line is you kind of be comfortable with it. This is a critical decision that one of the most critical decisions, if not the most critical decision you'll make as a city council. Through each of the candidates if you want, summarize their background, we can, and then let you rank them, and I can tally those rankings tonight, or get back to you tomorrow with them, or something else. You have in the book resumes, a summary resume that my office put together that basically gives you a 1-page look at who they are, where they live, their education, background, and their work history. And then the cover letter that they submitted with their resume, and then that supplemental questionnaire, which I think is critical because it really asks them to focus their attention on what this city has said is most and some of those, and then it has some internet articles that we pulled off of the internet. And kind of a mixed bag. You get some people, for some people you get a lot of information, for some people you get almost none. And what I attempted to do was try to find get some insight into what I didn't know about them. I wanted to know why they why they left jobs. And I wanted to one of the questions we asked is why. And then why that happened, I wanted some validation of what they told us. And then, in our more intensive due diligence process, we'll find that out. Any thoughts about how you want to approach this?
I'm ranked my 11.
Yeah, I think too, that's what we're asked to do.
Yeah, I mean, I figured that's what you were asked to do. I do have one question.
Yes, Councilman.
One question for you. In reading all of the, the luminous amounts of
I was hoping you wouldn't have to read all of it.
I've read every page, actually.
That's
It
great.
took me a few days. There was one individual, I believe it was Mr. Garman. The cover letter sounded, I think it was, sorry, you know this person?
I know him very well.
Okay, because the cover letter said, good talking to you, whatever, so I'm just curious, did you reach out to him, or he called to say, hey, I saw this ad,
Yes.
let me talk to you?
Let me tell you my history with Steve. First of all, he's been in business a long time. He's said he's older. But he was city manager for years in Pensacola, Florida. And I'm not sure I did any work for him there, but I knew him when he was there. He and some colleagues started a municipal financial advisory company, which was very, very successful. It was focused in Florida. It was very successful. He got tired of that, wanted to go back to work as city manager. I was doing some work for the city of Decatur, for Illinois. He was the candidate and was hired by them. And then I was fortunate enough to be hired by the city of Gulf Shores, Alabama, to do city administrator service, different form of government. Interesting your conversation earlier about forms of government. Decatur is council manager. Pensacola no longer is council manager, but was then. Gulf Shores is now strong mayor, with the administrator working for the mayor. Actually, the mayor doesn't even have to ask the council's permission, but does. So he was hired by the council. And was there and hired really to make some pretty substantial changes to the organization. Did that, and more because he made some real tough decisions, and some folks who were on staff for a long time left. So he was not asked to leave, but he left. A long-winded answer to a very simple question you asked, Councilwoman. He called me about this. He said, I'm just tired of not being a city manager, and he's still running that business, but he's bored. And so that's how it happened. We did talk. He asked me about this. I told him about it, and asked whether I thought he should apply. I said, I will send you the questionnaire, you fill it out and I'll tell you. And if I feel comfortable, I'll present you to the council.
Thank you, I was just curious.
Several of these people I asked.
Your thoughts on how you want to proceed tonight?
We've each done the 11 rankings, that's great.
I've done my rankings.
We've all done that. Maybe Quinn and I can go, somebody and I can go. I don't have.
I haven't filled out my form, I have them ranked, but if you guys want to talk about people first, like there's a few people where, like 1 and 2, if there are people that wanted to talk about them that might impact it, or am I overthinking it, just put my numbers together?
I would just put them together, because I think in the matrix process, it'll all shake out. If you're 2 versus 3, it probably won't make any difference if you switch the 2.
Actually, Councilman, if you do the ranking and do the tally, one of the advantages of this process, which admittedly isn't very scientific, is that most folks, I've done my job right, there's nobody on this list that can't do the job. But what'll happen is that you'll see who you're most interested in, then you'll see who you have no interest in, and that'll probably eliminate the need for some discussion.
Well, have we made a decision as to how many people we want to interview?
Let's do that after, see what we're gonna do.
One of the things that, this is Florida, and the city attorney, I know I'm right, you can correct me if I'm wrong, you do have to sign these forms.
Yes, that was just a vote. Sign this.
Candidate ranking for.
You have to sign those, yeah, each of you has to sign them. Most states you don't, but in Florida you do.
Just our name, right?
Yeah, well, I think so. They just the name, their names, so just put your name on. Yeah, it's a public guy.
You don't see that, please. No, that's us.
When you get these tallies, if somebody here that can do that, you know, I want Mrs. Maybe they'll make a copy of that, so we can show off.
Here, I've got one here.
But wait a minute, I just don't want to.
I can bring him a copy so I can give him mine.
It's the tallies you guys. If I mess it up, I don't want to,
It's just a copy.
Yeah, and all.
You better super. I will take his.
But I can, right, I'm reading this.
We'll just go into recess while they do the talk, while they do their tallying, so we can shut our mics off and everything.